Understanding digital culture, utopia, dystopia or both. One of the central debates about the impact of digital culture has been between those who see it as a force for good, a democratising of education, and those who see it as a dangerous development which will destabilise not only individuals but also communities and lead to the destruction of all that we hold to be good and true in life. This short digital story will consider this further, asking whether digital culture should be regarded as utopian, dystopian, or both. Those who'd like to find out more should turn to the references at the end of the presentation. This photograph and the one that comes next reflect my vision of utopia. They're accompanied by music by Arvo Pärt. The first photograph shows a beach in Scotland, Broughty Ferry Beach near Dundee, where I grew up. The second beach is Kari Kari Beach in New Zealand, a place I have grown to love. The music reflects the spiritual part of me, not conventionally religious, but demonstrating a yearning for something outside myself, a kind of meaning and a sense of the bigger picture. But my utopia may of course be very different to the next person's, and so to dystopia. The next two photographs are representations of dystopia. Here we have the city, industrialisation, urbanisation, pollution, the very opposite to the tranquil photographs of the sea and the beach. The pictures are almost black and white, often used to characterise the lack of colour and life in dystopia. The music here, sung by Billy Liar, a punk folk musician, presents the anger and frustration that can go along with a vision of dystopia. This cartoon reminds us that my utopia, and indeed my dystopia, won't necessarily be the same as yours. What I find peaceful and life-enhancing might seem meaningless, empty, boring for someone else. The sea, very much a part of my utopia, is a place of hardship and can even bring death for some fishermen. And the city, conversely, is a place of vitality and excitement for many, perhaps young people in particular. So the utopia-dystopia debate is reminiscent of the tendency to look back over halcyon times to a past when life was better, safer, when we could leave our doors open. It also reminds us that we need to approach this topic reflexively, thinking about how our age, gender, class, ethnicity and personal biography affect our response to all theories and ideas. We're now going to look at a few images that can be viewed very differently depending on perspective. The same is true for the songs sung by the Pogues, as we discover meeting your loved one can also happen behind the factory wall. The first image we have here is the quiet coach image. Is it a person? Is it a moon? And here we have an older lady. Or is it a young lady? And is this a glass? Or are two people's faces staring at one another? This is a painting by the Surrealist painter Salvador Dali. It shows us an old man with a beard. It also shows us a beautiful young woman who seems to be pregnant and she's standing reading a book. Can you see them both? Surrealists set out to turn things on their head, to force us to look again at our assumptions and our beliefs. That's what we need to do in terms of utopian and dystopian ideas about digital culture. We also need to look within for the very many possibilities that are likely to exist, as this painting by Octavio Ocampo demonstrates. How many faces can you see in this picture? This tells us there's not simply one answer to every question that we come across. The last slide is accompanied by Amy MacDonald singing The Road Home. The photograph sums up my own feelings about digital culture, utopia and dystopia. I'd like to argue that both are probably true, that digital culture has the capacity to enrich and destroy our lives at the same time, and that the challenge for us is to engage with this seeming contradiction. The French philosopher Michel Foucault argued that no discourse is inherently liberating or oppressive, but, he said provocatively, everything is dangerous. This is a point to end on, because it gives us so much to think about and to take forward. Thank you.